Here's your afternoon and evening update for Hurricane Dorian, now Major Hurricane Dorian. Currently Category 3 out here. Some things have been showing us that it is a Category 4 hurricane, so please stay tuned for the latest information on that. Hurricane warnings now in effect for the Bahamas, a hurricane watch down there for Andros Island. You can see many colleges and universities closed across Florida. The Panhandle's doing all right, Georgia's doing all right, and South Carolina all keeping an eye on the storm. Some evacuation orders, these are all voluntary. There is mandatory evacuation going into effect Sunday morning off of part of Florida. Now, let's take a look at my forecast positions. We have a couple options right now. Right now, the National Hurricane Center and my most likely estimate is that it goes right up the coast as a hurricane. Our other options is it goes completely out to sea and then maybe affects the Carolinas in some capacity. It goes inland through Florida. Each of those, all three of these possibilities are 30% apiece. Then 10% it just goes south through Miami instead. With that being said, let's take a look at the rainfall forecast. You can see we have a significant amount of rain, 6 to 10 inches in this orange area and 10 or more inches in this red area, and that goes everywhere from basically Miami up into South Carolina. Storm surge, really, we don't know where yet, especially it's going to make a big difference if it's out here or if it's in here or if it's along the coast. If it's along the coast, it's going to be purple all the way up. Stay tuned for changes with that. In the worst case wind scenario, major hurricane force winds, especially if it parallels the coast everywhere from Miami upwards into Jacksonville. Hurricane force winds all the way from Homestead up into Georgia, and tropical storm force winds throughout the Florida area. We'll be back with more information as we know more, and a lot is still to be known, especially with the way that this looks right now, because lots can change with all of these different paths and options for us. There's a lot that we still have to go through. So pretty soon we'll have some more information on this system and how exactly it's going to affect Florida. But as of now, all of Florida in the peninsula area needs to be prepared for an extremely dangerous situation. And that's not to neglect the northern Bahamas either. The northern Bahamas are at a higher risk, I would say, than Florida because they're guaranteed impact. And you can see this slows down. These points are 24 hours apart. You can see right now it's going like 9 miles an hour. That'll stay that way, and then it cuts the speed nearly in half as it slowly makes its way westward in the north, and then it takes off to the north from there. But even then, not that quickly. It takes a day to go from central Florida up to northern Florida, which is a long period of time. So lots of things still to be considered. Lots of uncertainty, but some major impacts are possible for Florida. Now let's take a look at the models here. You can see, I'm not sure why I'm doing this, that the latest European has moved out of Florida, but the GFS has everybody hitting Florida. That's part of our uncertainty, National Hurricane Center cone. You can see that there. And the precipitation forecast from the Weather Prediction Center, also lots of rain, lots and lots of rain. You can definitely tell that right now. Here's some more models you can see. Lots of these models, a good chunk of them all parallel the coast. Very bad, lots of storm surge and rain for that. Some more. This is the GFS, which I just showed earlier. This is just a different way of formatting it. All inland type tropical storms. Now, here's the intensity. Currently, we're at 100 knots, 115 miles an hour, 970 millibars. I would expect it to be between where my cursor is here, maybe 110 and probably 120 at the next advisory because of how strong this storm is, and that'll be at 8 o'clock Eastern time. Here's the latest infrared loop, and of course it's going to choose to load right now, but you can see a more ragged eye down here turns into a perfectly circular eye, and that could be that's a sign that we have lots of intensification underway. So stay tuned for more information from myself, the National Hurricane Center, and your local trusted weather sources.